My God, here I am, in the silence of my room, where the walls do not judge me, and the darkness seems the only honest confidant I have left. I come to you stripped of everything I pretend to be during the day. I come to you without the smile that has already become a painful mask, glued to the skin of my soul. I am so tired, Lord, a tiredness that is not of the body but of the soul, an exhaustion that comes from sustaining a character they applaud, that they admire, but that consumes me from the inside. Who am I, really? I don't even know anymore. I am the architect of my own fraud, the actor in a monologue that never ends. And today, Father, I can't bear to act anymore. The stage has collapsed, the curtains have torn, and the only spectator I desire is your mercy. Look at me, Lord. Not at the face I show the world, not at the strength I project, not at the optimistic words that leave my mouth like a well-rehearsed lie. Look inside, to the place where no one else is allowed to enter. Look at my heart in ruins. You see me when I wake up and already feel the weight of the day I will have to face, the weight of being who they expect me to be. I feel the muscles of my face preparing for the first forced smile, the first kindness that is not born of joy, but of duty. Every good morning I give is a stifled scream. Every handshake, every hug, every word of comfort I offer to someone, I offer from an empty well. I have become an expert in consoling others with the very healing I desperately need myself. I speak of hope with a voice choked by a mute despair. I speak of faith while mine crumbles like dry sand through my fingers. And the cruelest part, Lord, is that people believe it. They feed on my apparent strength, and that forces me to continue, to dig even deeper in search of an energy that doesn't exist, of a peace I do not possess. It is an overwhelming loneliness to be surrounded by people and to feel that no one, absolutely no one, knows the truth of what is happening inside. My smile is my wall and my prison. It protects me from vulnerability, from uncomfortable questions, from the pity I wouldn't know how to receive. But it also isolates me, locks me in this castle of appearances where I am both king and prisoner. Behind this facade, there is a cry that finds no voice. Tears that accumulate and weigh down, turning into a dammed-up ocean that threatens to break at any moment. I cry at the most unexpected times, in the car, in the shower, the moment the door closes, and I can finally let my shoulders drop. It is a silent cry, from someone who is afraid of being discovered. A cry of mourning for myself, for the person I wish I could be, for the genuine joy I feel I have lost somewhere along the way. When did I get lost, Father? When did the joy of living become an obligation, a performance? I look in the mirror and sometimes I don't recognize myself. I see the outline of a stranger who has learned to imitate my gestures, to use my voice. But the eyes, the eyes cannot lie completely. In them, if you look very closely, you will see the weariness of 1,000 battles fought in silence. You will see the plea of a lost child who just wants a safe lap to confess that he is scared, that he doesn't know the way back home. My soul is sick, Lord. It has been wounded, trampled, neglected by me in my eagerness to please, to be accepted, to live up to an image that I myself created and now do not know how to deconstruct. I am a house of cards, which any breath of reality could bring down. And I live in constant panic of that breath, of that inevitable revelation of my fragility. Therefore, today, I drag myself into your presence. I have nothing beautiful to offer you. I have no hymns of praise, no words of gratitude that are true in this moment. What I have is this: a broken heart, a soul in pieces, a smile that has turned to dust and revealed the tear-stained face beneath it. I give you my raw, naked truth, my pain, my confusion, my fear. I give you the exhausted actor, and I ask that you help me find the real person he has hidden. I do not ask that you take the pain away from me all at once, for perhaps it is the only way back to myself and to you. But I ask that you sit with me in this darkness. I ask that your presence be the light that allows me to see my own ruins, not with despair, but with the hope that the greatest of architects can rebuild from rubble. Stay here with me, Lord. Do not leave me alone with the ghosts of my own creation. Hear the cry that hides behind my smile. Hear the prayer that has no words, but that pulses in every open wound of my soul. Just stay here. And in the stillness that follows my confession, I feel that I am not speaking into the void. Your presence, Lord, is not like a thunder that shakes the foundations, but like the air that gently enters the lungs after a long time without breath. It is the permission to cry without feeling guilty. It is the silence that does not accuse, but welcomes. Thank you for staying. Thank you for not turning away from the ugliness of my broken soul. Being here with you gives me a courage I did not know I had. The courage to look back and try to understand how I reached this point. The mask was not born overnight. It was woven thread by thread, with the threads of rejection, of the fear of not being enough, of the need for validation that I sought in all places but you. It began perhaps in childhood, with the need to be the good child, the exemplary student, the one who doesn't cause trouble. And I learned the lesson too early. My pain is an inconvenience. My needs are a burden. And so I began to swallow my tears, to disguise my sadness, to present to the world an edited, more palatable version of myself. That version grew, became more sophisticated. It learned to tell jokes when the urge was to scream. It learned to give advice on problems that were mirrors of its own abysses. It learned to organize the lives of others, while its own unraveled into chaos. And the world applauded, Lord. How the world applauds apparent strength. I was praised for my resilience, for my positivity, for my ability to bounce back. But no one saw that. With every bounce back, I left a piece of my soul behind. I wasn't overcoming, I was repressing. I wasn't winning, I was numbing myself. And I became addicted to this anesthesia, to this applause that was my poison. Because every compliment to my strength chained me further to my farce. How could I, after being called a rock, confess that I am sand? How could I, after being a safe harbor for so many, admit that my own ship is sinking? The fear of disappointing became my executioner. A fear that whispers in my ear that if people saw my truth, my mess, my weakness, they would leave. And maybe that's true for some, Lord, but what hurts me most is that I believed this lie so much that I abandoned myself. I became the first to reject myself. I look at myself with the critical eyes of the world and condemn myself for not being strong all the time. I punish myself for every tear, for every moment of discouragement. There is a relentless judge inside me, and he uses your word, distorted, to sentence me. He tells me that my sadness is a lack of faith, that my anguish is ingratitude, and I, in my weariness, believed him for so long. I built a theology around my own performance, where your love seemed conditional on my ability to smile and say, everything is fine. Forgive me, Father. Forgive me for thinking that your love was so small, so superficial, so similar to the conditional love of the world. The truth, Lord, is that I am starving while I prepare banquets for others. My soul yearns for a crumb of genuine connection, a look that says, I see you, the real you, and I am staying. But how can I receive that love if I don't allow anyone to see who I really am? I nullify myself, and then I weep over the loneliness I myself have created. It is a perfect trap, a vicious cycle of pain. I want so much to be loved, but I am so afraid to be seen. And so, relationships become superficial. Conversations are light because I dare not dive deep. People know me, but they do not access me. They know the character, the ambassador of joy, the crisis manager. But the scared, broken, and grace-hungry human being, he remains hidden, wasting away in the dungeon of my own chest. I want to get out of here, Lord. I want to breathe air that is not heavy with my own lies. I don't know how to unlearn how to pretend. I don't know how to walk without the armor I have worn for so long. I feel naked, exposed, and terribly vulnerable just thinking about it. The idea of being authentic terrifies me as much as it attracts me. What does it mean to be myself? Does it mean crying in front of someone? Does it mean saying I'm not okay when they ask? Does it mean asking for help? These words sound like a foreign language in my mouth. But today, in this prayer, in this honest encounter with you, I feel a small seed of desire sprouting in the dry soil of my soul. The desire to be free. The desire to reconcile with myself. The desire that my inside and my outside might one day dance to the same music. I do not ask you for the strength to rip the mask off all at once, for I know it is stuck to my skin and the wound would be too great. But I ask that you begin to breathe on it with your Holy Spirit, a gentle and persistent breath that begins to loosen the edges. A breath that reminds me that your face is turned towards mine, and that before you, I need no disguise. Begin in me, Father, the silent revolution of truth, the healing that begins when I admit, first to you, and perhaps one day to myself, that I am broken, and I need your love to remake me. And I feel your breath, Lord. It is almost imperceptible, like a summer breeze in the dead of night. It doesn't rip the mask off, but it makes me aware of it in a new way. Before, it was a part of me. A second, skin. Now I feel its edges. I feel where it ends and where my wounded skin begins. And for the first time, I don't want to reinforce it. I no longer want to run my fingers over its cracks, filling them with more lies, more smiles, more excuses. The small seed of desire that you planted in me in the darkest part of my night begins to germinate, and it has a name. Surrender. What? A frightening word, my God. To surrender means to lose control, and control has been my only survival tool for so long. Control over my emotions, over the perception of others, over the narrative of my own life. But what kind of control was it? An illusory control, which cost me my peace, my joy, my truth. It was the control of a prisoner who polishes the bars of his own cell, thinking it is freedom. Today I understand. True control is in letting go, in opening the hands that have been clenched so tightly and for so long, and letting you take the helm. So, here I am, in an act of faith that terrifies me. I lay down my weapons, the armor of cynicism, the sword of irony, the shield of forced optimism. I surrender, not as a defeated soldier, but as an exhausted child who finally stops fighting, against the father who only wants to embrace him. Accept my surrender, Lord. Receive this tired warrior who no longer wants to fight the wrong battles. My battle is not against the world. It is not against others. My battle is against my own inauthenticity. And that is a war I cannot win alone. I need your army of angels, your peace that surpasses all understanding, to fight for me, to fight in me. I ask you to teach me to be weak, Father. What a contradiction to the ears of the world. The world taught me to seek strength, to exalt independence, to hide the cracks. But the strength the world preaches has crushed me. Now I ask you for the strength that comes from your grace, the strength to admit that I can't do it, the strength to say, I need help, the strength to be vulnerable and trust that your hand will hold me. Redefine in me the concept of fortitude. May my fortitude no longer be the absence of tears, but the courage to cry them in your presence. May it not be the ability to carry everything alone, but the humility to share my burden with you. And what do I do with the wreckage, Lord? My inner life looks like a city after an earthquake. There are pieces of dreams everywhere, fragments of identity, shards of a heart that was once whole. My first inclination is to try to sweep everything under the rug, to hide the mess, to present to you a minimally tidy place. But your breath tells me otherwise. It invites me to do the unthinkable, to gather the pieces, not to try to glue them back together, for my hands tremble and I would only create a patched-up monster, but to offer each one of them to you. Here it is, Father. Take this shard of glass, which reflects the distorted image I have of myself. Take this stone, the weight of guilt I carry for having lied for so long. Take this dust, all that has disintegrated, the hopes that turn to dust. I give you my rubble. I have heard that you are a potter, that you make vessels of honor from clay. Be the potter of my soul. Take my clay mixed with tears. Take my fragments and begin to mold something new. I have heard that you are an artist, a master of kintsugi, the art of repairing what is broken with gold, making the scars the most beautiful part of the work. Do this with me, Lord. Fill my cracks with the gold of your love, your grace, your forgiveness. May my story of brokenness not be a story of shame, but a testament to your redeeming power. I know that the healing will not be instantaneous. I know that the process of remaking myself will be long and at times painful. There will be days when the force of habit will make me pick up the mask from the floor and try to put it back on. There will be moments when the fear of being judged will scream louder than your gentle voice. There will be mornings when the pain will seem unbearable, and the temptation to return to the old familiar anesthesia will be immense. On those days, Father, I ask for your help. Remind me of this night. Remind me of this conversation. Remind me of the peace I felt in being honest with you for the first time in so long. Give me the perseverance to take it one step at a time. Today, the step is this: to surrender the pieces. Tomorrow, perhaps the step will be just to breathe and not pretend. The day after tomorrow, who knows? The step might be to risk a glimpse of authenticity with someone I trust. Guide me, Lord. Be my light and my compass on this path back home, back to myself, back to you. Do not let me stray. Hold my hand firmly, especially when I try to let go. My trust is still as fragile as a sprout, but I place it in the fertile soil of your love, and I believe that you will water it and make it grow. And in that fertile soil of your love, my fragile trust begins to take root. The earthquake has passed. The deafening noise of my own performance, of my anxiety, of my self-criticism finally ceases. And in its place, there is not a frightening void, but a stillness I have never known. A peace, Lord. A peace that is not the absence of problems, but the presence of you. It is a peace that settles upon my ruins like a mantle of soft mist at dawn, not hiding the debris, but sanctifying it, making it part of a sacred landscape where you and I meet. I no longer need the adrenaline of approval. I no longer need the sound of applause to know that I have value. Your silence is enough for me. In this silence, I feel my own heart beating, perhaps for the first time without the frantic rhythm of panic. It beats in a cadence of rest, of relief. The relief of finally arriving home. I did not know it, but my home was you, and I have spent my entire life as an exile, trying to build homes in foreign lands, in the smiles of others, in ephemeral successes. And now, I return to you, my place of origin, my true home. Slowly, Lord, my gaze begins to change. I used to see the world as a stage and people as an audience or a threat. Now I begin to see them with your eyes. I see the humanity we share. Behind the faces I meet, I begin to wonder, how many other masks are there? How many other smiles hide a silent cry? How much pain walks beside me, disguised as hurry, as arrogance, as indifference. A compassion is born in me that is not pity, but recognition. A desire to offer others the grace I am receiving from you. The grace of a safe space. The grace of not judging. Perhaps my healing is not just for me. Perhaps my golden scars can be a light for another traveler lost in the darkness. A map that points in your direction. I ask you, Father, to use me. Not as an example of strength, but as an example of your mercy. May my vulnerability give another person the permission to be vulnerable too. May my story of brokenness free someone from the tyranny of perfection. Gratitude begins to sprout in unexpected places. It is not an exuberant and loud gratitude, but a serene and deep appreciation. I am grateful for the air that fills my lungs, an air that now seems cleaner, free from the poison of falsehood. I am grateful for the pain I still feel, because it reminds me that I am alive and that my heart is thawing. I am grateful for the tears that now flow more freely, for they are a river that cleanses my soul, that waters the seed of my new life. I am even grateful for the mask I wore for so long, not with fondness, but with understanding. It was the defense mechanism of a frightened child. It was what kept me standing when I thought I was going to fall. But now, I can thank it and say goodbye to it, as one says goodbye to a suit of armor that no longer fits, that now only prevents an embrace. I leave it at your feet, an artifact from a war that has come to an end. I do not know what tomorrow holds. I do not have a clear map of the future, and for the first time, that does not frighten me. My hope is no longer placed in the certainty of the path, but in the faithfulness of my traveling companion. I know there will be difficult days. I know that melancholy may knock on my door again. I know that the world will continue to invite me to its masquerade ball. But something has fundamentally changed within me. Now I know where to run. Now I know whom to cry out to. Now I know that my identity is not in my smile, but in the fact that I am your beloved child, both on sunny days and on nights of weeping. And that is enough. That truth is the anchor of my soul. My joy no longer needs to be a performance for others. It can be a sacred secret between me and you, a contentment that blossoms inward. And if by chance it overflows into a smile, may it be a true smile. A smile that hides nothing but reveals everything. The beauty of a soul that was broken and is being remade, patiently, lovingly, by the hands of the Creator. With this serene hope, I rest. With this truth, I rise. I am no longer alone. I no longer have to pretend. I am in your hands. And here, finally, I am free. Amen.